I'm Shannon, and I'm Saskatchewan's only natural bioenergetics specialist. Yes, I'm Saskatchewan's only specialist in the area, and I've taken years of experience to help individuals like you get back on track with your wellness needs. No, I'm not a doctor, but in a way, I pick up where they left off, coaching, helping, and implementing the natural bioenergetics technique to help people get back on track. I like to call myself a wellness sleuth because I'm trained to sleuth out what the body needs in place so it can start to heal, whether this is physical health, mental or emotional health, or even nutritional health. I'm trained to find out what the body needs so it can start the healing process. Natural BioEnergetics has been around for more than 40 years. It has been developed by a leading physiological psychologist who's done research in the medical field. And this technique was subject to no different rigorous scientific protocols in its development. In some countries, natural bioenergetics is legislated under a different name, but it is all the same technique. I've worked in natural bioenergetics for several years now, but in the last 3 years, I've started to work with more clients online in Zoom-based appointments. So even though I am the only natural bioenergetics specialist in Saskatchewan, and even though in these tough pandemic times, you can still easily have an appointment with me without even leaving your home. Questions that I often encounter.
Can I work with you even if I'm under the care of another doctor, specialist, or practitioner?
Of course you can. In fact, some of the best healing occurs when multiple disciplines are involved. For example, I had one client a few years ago that had a severe accident and a head injury. She had severe memory issues, she had severe concussion, and she was attending a regular doctor, a chiropractor, massage therapist, and I can't remember what else. But over the course of a couple of months, the regular specialist that she attended, that everyone was familiar with, managed to attend to her physical needs, and I was able to tend to some of the things like her memory issues, her brain focusing, her brain capacity again, and within a few months she started to function normally again. So this is a very good example of how multidisciplinary can work together, and I was happy to be on that team.
Can I expect an instant cure?
Even a doctor can't promise this. There's just too many variables. Because we don't know the exact damage or the degree of your situation, how much is digressed, or even the amount of mental blocks that we might have to overcome within your situation. Most situations will not instantly cure overnight. Most people do notice, however, a small amount of change early in the implementation of the natural bioenergetics technique. But progress is dependent on several factors, including, but not limited to, damage, digression of the issues or state, mental block, and the client's compliancy to getting the help and taking the help and using the help.
What results can I expect?
Well, we shoot for the moon automatically. I mean, what else can we shoot for? But generally, there are 3 types of patient results. There are those that have outstanding or almost instant results. Often these people have already been through a long process of trying to get well, and they're just needing the natural bioenergetics to get them over the hump. Those are always the ones that we want to hear. We want everyone to be like that. Unfortunately, they can't. There are also those that are slow and steady. They have gradual steps all the way through, and that's okay. That's actually probably the majority of the people. These gradual steps, slow and steady wins the race. You've heard that logo. They're all working towards the end product, and not to worry. And then there are those that take longer to process. Actually, sometimes in the beginning, they don't even seem like they're making any progress whatsoever. But this is a very interesting one, because even though it doesn't seem like you're making progress, your body's actually doing a lot inside. Okay, I have a little example on this one as well. I had a client come in a few years ago, kept coming in weekly, and he insisted on that he had to come see me weekly. After a while, I said, you know what, we would benefit you if you actually take a break for a while because your body's processing. I told him, no, you're keeping me from going down, he said. I need you to keep me at that level so I can keep working, so I can keep going, so I can keep living life. Okay, finally after a month or so later, I finally insisted he had to take a break because he wasn't going to get any further along if he didn't take that break. It was testing like he needed to wait probably 3 months. He finally took the advice after me continually insisting. And interestingly enough, about 3 months later, he made a 180 turnaround, and he's never looked back since. With some clients, at that 180 turnaround, we might need to do a little bit more, and sometimes we don't. But often people don't recognize at that 180 turnaround, even though I've done all the testing and I've determined that they need to take that break, and at this particular time they might start seeing changes, they never accredit it to the Natural BioEnergetics. And that's the unfortunate part with that group of people. But it is important to realize that even though you don't think your body's doing anything, the body is actually processing the whole time.
Is your goal to keep me dependent on you?
No, it isn't. Honestly, unlike common medical treatment, where they'd have you come back and get another prescription or another treatment, our goal is to actually coach and teach you how to obtain and maintain that wellness on your own. We hope to have you independent of our wellness managed services. Is that good for business? No. But for some people, this may be just a few treatments. For others, it may be a few months worth. And yet for some other work, like I was kind of explaining in the other, we will work with you for a while, give you a break, and then you may come back a little while for another little John before you're actually completely done. It varies according to the individual needs, and the end goal is actually to get you independent of our services.
What if you don't know anything about my condition?
This might seem really weird and backwards to you, but this is actually to my advantage. I've had people walk away from me because I knew nothing, and I actually do have a healthcare background. I have been trained in one form of healthcare, and I have worked in the hospital setting. So not to worry, I do have a lot of knowledge up here, but I am not a doctor, and I don't work from that perspective. But I do not work against the medical community. I actually work to enhance them. But here's one of the reasons why we find this not very helpful. I find when a person has a diagnosis, they come in and there's certain blocks that are in place in their mindset. It becomes their identity. Oh, I'm a diabetic. This is who I am. And even though you may not say that, this is what the thought process is in your mind. And to get rid of that thought process, it's very difficult. Here's another analogy. Let's think of our whole bodies as this big tree. So we have this long, narrow trunk, and then we have all these branches. All these branches branching out everywhere. Think of your symptoms in this tree. You have this symptom here, Y symptom here, A symptom here, Q symptom here, R symptom here, and it's all spread around the tips of those branches. But you come to me and say, can you work with this symptom here today? Much like a doctor would. Oh, I could do that. But that may not be the whole perspective of your situation. So why would I work in this one symptom when it might be connected to this symptom over here and that symptom over there and this symptom over here? It's more beneficial if I work my way down the trunk and find a common issue to work on that's going to affect all of those symptoms. And that's how I work. That doesn't mean you get instant relief right off the bat, but that's how I work. I work further down that trunk so I can address as many of those as possible. So as you can see, it does not matter to me whether I have an actual condition attached to your symptoms and your problems or your issues. What matters is we find what the body wants us to work on to manage your whole health perspective. So I invite you to give me a try. You might be surprised what I can do for you. I can work with individual sessions. You can book one at a time, or I can customize package for your individual needs. And I do have already pre-customized packages that are great for people. The advantages of those packages is that there's more material added into it that you can do at home and work through at home besides the virtual sessions with me. The other advantage is that there's also payment programs to modify it as according to your needs. Most people will usually not see me more than once or twice a month unless they're in an acute stage. And that's usually ideal because the body needs to process in between. So I don't try to keep you coming in and taking your money constantly. I want you to have a break in between each session so your body processes what it needs to do in between and gets it ready for the next session. And every session I determine how long that wait period is. It's usually an average of 2 to 3 weeks. It just depends on the needs of the individual. Unfortunately, like many natural health professions, insurance probably won't cover this anymore. At one time, insurance covered more. Now they're getting more sticky with it. However, I do have other options. I have membership coverage available, and it's kind of like an insurance, and it gives you so much sessions that you can use per year. Just ask me about the information at your appointment. To book an appointment, just follow the prompts on this page.